My love for gaming started right here. Now, before we get too far into Gran Turismo, I should probably explain what this channel actually is. Welcome to Bertie's Retro Gaming Adventures. This channel is basically going to be me revisiting the games that shaped my love for gaming growing up, while also eventually exploring some classics that I completely missed at the time. There is one main rule for the channel though: every game has to be at least 15 years old, so if it isn't retro yet, it doesn't make the cut. And honestly, there was never really any doubt what game had to start the channel. Gran Turismo on the original PlayStation is where all of this began for me. I've got a lot of memories tied to this game, but one of the biggest is me and my older brother spending hours doing lap after lap around Autumn Ring Mini, trying all sorts of different cars while I constantly failed to beat his lap times. Looking back now, that was probably the point where gaming stopped just being something I played and became something I genuinely loved. The plan for the channel is 3 uploads a week, at least to start with anyway. Monday, Wednesday and Friday if I can keep up with the schedule. The main focus will mostly be full playthrough series like this, but I also want to throw in standalone videos for games that maybe don't need a full series, games that I just have really specific memories of. And one thing I really want to keep with this channel is authenticity. So whenever possible, everything will be played on original hardware, original controllers, original discs, along with all the technical nightmares that apparently come with that. So yes, this footage, and all future Gran Turismo videos, are being captured using original PlayStation hardware and even an old CRT TV. So if things occasionally look a little rough around the edges, that's probably why. Hence the blue screen and flickering at the very start. Now, Gran Turismo is built around progression. You start with basically no money, no cars, and only a few events available to you. To unlock more races, you need licenses, better cars, and credits. And these license tests right here were honestly legendary back in the day. Equal parts tutorial and psychological warfare. And yes, while we're here at the B license stage, I should probably enjoy the feeling of getting golds while it lasts. Right then, before we get too far into the license test, let's actually have a look at where Gran Turismo starts you off. Progression was always one of the things Gran Turismo did really well. You weren't immediately handed some ridiculous supercar and told to go win championships, you had to work your way upwards. We currently have 10,000 credits and absolutely nothing in the garage. Yep, completely empty. So this really is starting from scratch. Which is slightly difficult when the first thing we immediately find is an Aston Martin DB7 for 150,000 credits. We have 10. So I think it's fair to say we won't be buying an Aston Martin anytime soon. One thing I always thought was really cool in the original Gran Turismo, and I'm pretty sure Gran Turismo 2 as well, is that only the Japanese manufacturers actually had used car dealerships. Which is very good news for us, because this one currently has 4 cars we can actually afford. And yes, despite this being the English PAL version of the game, the MX-5 is actually called the Unos Roadster here for some weird reason. No idea why. Apparently Gran Turismo expected everybody to already be Japanese car experts in 1997. But honestly, even just scrolling through these old dealerships again is ridiculously nostalgic. Right then, enough pretending we can afford things, let's actually get some driving done. Right, well here's where the real tests start. We're not just accelerating and braking now, we're actually going around corners. Unfortunately, I'm not Murray Walker, so don't expect that kind of commentary here. I'm already making mistakes, look. Maybe I am Murray Walker, he was good for making mistakes. Anyway, we're just accelerating down to what is the first corner. I'm probably going to throw in a little Scandi flick here just to get the rear end out a little bit, tiny little dab of the brakes, throw it through the apex, up on the exit curb. Ooh, taking a tiny little bit of grass there, but there we are, across the line. Ooh, a gold. And we're straight into the 4th license test now, which is exactly the same, only this time we're using the Nissan Silvia, which is a little bit quicker. This is front engine rear wheel drive, whereas the previous car was front engine front wheel drive, so it's going to handle slightly differently, but it's essentially the same thing. Weight transfer on this game was actually present, unlike previous games on the PlayStation. Go for the same sort of idea here, chuck it in, little dab of the brakes on the apex there, but accelerating up the hill, which actually accelerates up the hill nicely as it's got a little bit more power, and there we are. That's another gold time. Straight into B license test 5, which is again exactly the same, only this time we're in the Mitsubishi GTO, which is actually 4-wheel drive. So again, it's going to handle slightly different, but once again, we're at the start-finish straight of Deep Forest, straight down to the first hairpin corner. Not quite the Scandi flick there, but you know, we've still hit the apex, good exit speed, touching the exit curb there quite nicely, and up towards the line. That seems pretty good. Let's see what medal we got. Hey, gold once again. Here we go. Right, what's the next one? Multiple corners this time in the Mitsubishi FTO. Ah, yep, this one. Okay, we're doing the kind of a chicane. It's more like a hairpin after a hairpin at high-speed ring. I want to be on the left-hand side of the road here, I think, so I can get a better angle at the turn. There we go, that was quite nice. Oop, a little wide through here. Still keeping my foot in. Good exit. and then it's basically just a straight line to the end. And let's see what that time gets us. Whee! More gold. Multiple corners too. Well, we're back in the Nissan Silvia this time for exactly the same test. Again, different kind of car in terms of, this is again obviously front engine rear wheel drive like it was earlier. Why wouldn't it be? And the FTO was front engine front wheel drive. Get a bit more angle on this time. Keeping my foot in, take a little bit of the grass. Didn't slow me down too much. Just ease off the throttle there. Trying to get good exit speed. Ooh, stay out of the grass, come on. Let's see what we get. That definitely could have been a little bit quicker, but it's still good enough for gold. There we go, look. Only one more test in this, and we've got 7 gold so far. How's that? This one, the 8th test in all of the licenses on the original Gran Turismo, is a 1-lap shootout. This time we're in the MX-5, or as the game likes to call it, the Unos Roadster, for a 1-lap shootout of the whole of the high-speed ring. Just accelerating up through the gears, hitting the first corner. You've probably noticed by now, because I'm using original hardware, I've always been a D-pad racer rather than an analog stick. That's why the steering's a little bit janky, because I'm tapping the directional buttons rather than smoothly operating the analog stick. No, I'm not Carlos Sainz either. Back through these 2 corners. Know how to do these now. I haven't done them twice already. That was quite nice. And then the final corner is a quick left, but it's quite long. Got nice banking here. Almost reminds me of a NASCAR track. And then on the exit, get as close. Ooh, tapped the grass there a little bit, but that didn't slow me down at all. And lines coming up. Ooh, get a bit of a wobble on. There we go. What we get? Bronze? Well, that wasn't in the script, was it? Oh well, never mind. Oh, there we go. B license acquired. Anyway, that's not good enough for me, so I shall be right back in a second. There we go. That should be good enough for gold. There we go. That's better. As you can see, we've been awarded a prize car. This happens when you get all gold on a license, but don't expect to see any more of these. And honestly, prize cars are a massive advantage early on in Gran Turismo. Some of them are genuinely good enough to carry you through a huge chunk of the early game, which is exactly why we're not using it. I want this series to feel like a genuine first playthrough experience, where you slowly work your way upwards instead of immediately being handed something overpowered. So let's go sell this Viper. And yes, despite this very clearly being a Dodge Viper concept, in the original PAL version of Gran Turismo, Dodge is actually called Chrysler for some weird reason. No idea why. And apparently can't even sell it either. I'm guessing because it's a concept car. So for now at least, we'll just pretend this doesn't exist. One thing I always loved in Gran Turismo was the used car rotation system. Every 7 in-game days, the stock changes, which means the dealerships are constantly refreshing with different cars, which is why Mazda now has 5 affordable cars instead of the 4 from earlier. One of which is this beautiful RX-7 with a decent amount of power, rear-wheel drive, should be fun. Next up you've got the Toyota, where there's plenty of Supras available, but also if you wanted to go for an initial D type run, then of course you'd have to go for the GT86. Next up you've got Mitsubishi, and I believe we've only got one car that's affordable. Yep, the Mirage 92 Cyborg. I remember starting a run with one of these before. It was a very good starter car, but I think we can do better than that. Next up we've got the Hondas. Probably should be quite a few here. Oh no, that's less than I thought. Oh, look at that. Beautiful CRX7. CRX7? CRX even. I've got Mazdas on the brain apparently. Next up we've got the Subaru. Now I don't think we can afford any of these. No, you can't. However, that Wagon WRX is one of the cars that I remember racing around Autumn Ring Mini with my brother all those years ago. We did the race car modification to it and everything. And now we get to the interesting ones. Nissan. Now you can go for the practical Nissan Primera, which is probably the best bet. Practical, decent starter car, proper starter car. However, you've then got a Nissan Skyline. And when Gran Turismo gives you the option to start with the Nissan Skyline, why would you not go for the Nissan Skyline? We could afford this Supra that has 236 brake horsepower, but as I said, if you can afford a Skyline, why would you not go for the Skyline? It's a 90s icon car. So there we are. We're going to get the Skyline. And with that, the journey begins.